Welcome back to the Radio Toons podcast special edition.
Special edition.
Yeah.
Already?
Something crazy happened this week.
Was it E3?
It was E3.
Wow.
And we're here live.
Live?
Yep. Live from E3. Hear that noise in the background? That's all the excitement going on.
Oh my gosh, so much excitement, you know? And we have to keep it kind of under wraps. This is as good as we can make it.
Yeah.
Sorry, the crowds are just going bananas. So, I mean, let's go in order. What did we see? We saw Microsoft go first, then we saw Sony, then we saw Nintendo.
Yeah, we're going to talk about them all, and we're going to give honest, real opinions, all right? We're not like those pussy-ass video game journalists that say, you know...
Everything's great.
Oh, everything is 9.5. Nah, this is real...
Some real stuff.
This is real
here.
shit here, all right? I say we just skip EA.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't think we need to talk about, like...
Nothing happened?
EA, Bethesda, and Ubisoft, they made their presentations, but a lot of their stuff is, like, cross-platform.
Ubisoft, actually, everyone was very excited about...
because Ubisoft pulled out that little, hey, let's bring out Shigeru Miyamoto, and dude, Shigeru Miyamoto just coming out like a freaking boss.
I don't know about that. I think it was more Beyond Good and Evil, too. Everyone was very excited about that.
That, too. That as well. But it was like they started with that and then they ended with Good and Evil. So, I mean, they did a great job. They set up... The only hiccup, in my opinion, was the Just Dance thing. Those things are always kind of embarrassing. Like, what are you going to show? It's the same game over and over. You already know how I feel about Just Dance.
You know what, though? I people like those games. I think that spot in their lineup or whatever, I think it's going to stay for a while. They're very popular games.
It's fine. They can make it. People likes all sorts of stupid stuff, so it's fine.
Wow.
They could do that.
All right.
But I think the big ones are still Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo.
Yeah. So, without further ado, let's start with Microsoft. Microsoft, huh?
Yeah. So
they had a car on stage.
Yeah. It's impressive that they had a car there. But to be honest, between you and me,
all right,
do you know anybody who plays Forza Motorsports or any of those car games and is like, yes, car games? You know what, forever.
Though? I mean, they must sell well enough to make them like every they don't come out every year, right? They come out every couple of years.
Yeah,
they have a community, I guess, or they have a crowd of people that like them.
I mean, what can you do? Because it like every car game that comes out, they're all like more realistic, more this, more that.
Yeah,
and it's like, to me, it's attuned to like the Madden and sports games. They just update the roster as it keeps going. You know, like what's the difference between Madden 16 and 17? The roster change.
New cars come out every year.
Exactly.
And
so
with
that's
Madden, it's like new people are born every year. So
exactly.
It's
so it's like you have to be into cars to care about that, because otherwise it's just a straight out racing game, and I'm not. I don't know. I don't care. I don't care. But if you are, great. They premiered a brand new Porsche there. Like that's where it was premiered.
I think it was called the 911 too.
Porsche 911. It's a long-standing car. It was called the 911 a long time ago.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
The other ones were some of the other stuff they announced was like Metro, which looked kind of cool, but it's like you and me have been saying like all during the press conference.
Every fucking trailer started with like the world is destroyed. Every single time, and I was like, okay, let me guess, it's gonna be a realistic shooter or something, right?
Exactly. It's just after the world's turned to chaos or blah blah blah. So yeah.
I don't know. People were excited about that game though too. So.
Well, from what I understood from the little trailer, it's based on some series of books, which I've never read.
Oh, yeah, it said that, huh? That's weird.
It did say that at the end, and I was like, oh, great. I actually got that game. I think I got both those games for free, like the previous ones.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Assassin's Creed?
Yeah.
That's cross-platform, though, I believe, right?
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah.
But this is the new one for this year. New Assassin's Creed.
This is the prequel to all of them, because supposedly this is the first Assassin.
You know, it's funny. Remember we noticed there's a part in the trailer, in the gameplay trailer, where he like jumps up and readies his bow and arrow, and it looks exactly like Breath of the Wild.
I think we screamed out. He's pulling a Zelda right in the middle of it. Because it looks the animation is very similar to
like it slows down and lets you aim and everything.
Yeah. But there's no what is it? What's that little meter called? There's no
Like a little time
stamina meter.
Oh yeah, that's all it needs, really.
I mean, this is an Assassin's Creed game. What can you say? It looks great. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if they. I think they showed it running on the Xbox One X.
Oh yeah.
Which is the other thing that they were talking about, is like their new system.
Console. Do you think that's worth it?
I was having this conversation with Eric and Alex.
Some of your friends.
Yeah, and they made a good point. They were like, if you have a 4K TV, yes, because you want to maximize.
You know, that's a good point. Only because I heard somebody else say something similar. Like when it came to PS3 and Xbox 360, if some games ran better on like PS3 than Xbox, people would automatically just choose the better like running version or whatever.
Right.
And I feel like that's gonna have the same effect here, where it's like, oh, it runs on 4K on the new Xbox, and maybe I'll just get that one, kind of thing. So I don't know.
Well, like here's the thing. I
myself
upgraded from, well, actually Cindy bought me for Christmas. She bought me the Xbox One S.
Right.
Now, as I understand it, Xbox One S and Xbox One X are the newest versions of the systems, and all the games that are going to come out within the next 2 years are compatible with both systems.
Yeah, why wouldn't they be?
Well, this is how I'm understanding it.
Yeah,
but the X plays everything at a higher quality. So it's like 4K.
It's like a PlayStation Pro.
But here's the weird thing.
Okay.
If you actually go into a lot of the games, some of them are 60 frames per second, some of them are 30. And then some games will be getting an upgrade, some games won't. It's kind of like, I don't know, the whole thing seems really awkward.
It's pretty janky because that's how it is on PlayStation 2. They couldn't figure out how to like deal with every game. So what they said is just we're going to add boost mode to all games. It works with some of them, it doesn't with some, or it doesn't with others. And they just like, I know there's like a list somewhere where you can look up which ones work well and which ones don't.
But I don't understand that. Like, how is that possible? Like you and me have pretty decent PCs. How come we can get like the max out of those?
I mean, it's just, I don't know. A console trying to do that might be different. I don't know anything about the development process behind these.
Seems really stupid. But like that whole mess is happening. But one thing I will say that I got really excited about when it came out, they said Xbox, OG Xbox compatibility was going to be added.
Okay, so I don't know exactly what that means yet, because PlayStation did something similar where they worded it like that, and it turns out like, oh, that just means they're putting PS2 onto the marketplace, and I was like, that's fucking stupid. Why would they say like?
But correct me if I'm wrong. Right now, when they say Xbox 360 compatibility, when those come out, if you have the disc, you can pop those in.
Yeah. So I'm assuming what they mean is that original Xbox games will work inside your new Xbox.
That's what I assume as well, because it would make sense, because there's still I believe the Xbox still ran on DVDs, so you could still pop those in and use them. Because it still has the DVD reader and everything. It's not like it has a Blu-ray. It's not like it has a Blu-ray reader or anything in it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So it should still work the same way, and people were losing their shit over Crimson Skies, which I don't think I ever played.
I think the only original Xbox game I would want to play is like, well, fucking Halo's already on the new ones, right?
Yeah, we got the Master Chief Collection, which makes the first one look like 10 times better.
I don't know. Then Jet Set Radio Future is like the only thing I could think of.
I'm trying to think of other games, because we have a ton of them over there. Like, I'd love to play Wolfenstein again, the OG one.
Yeah.
Because I love that game.
You mean the one on Xbox?
Yeah, I'm sorry, the one, because that one has a...
That was like the first online game we ever played.
Yeah, but I remember liking the one-player mode because it had all those secrets in it.
Yeah, like the traditional Wolfenstein.
Yeah, it was just,
style.
but it was very... I don't know. That one seemed really, really cool to me.
All right, but let's keep going with the list. They have something called Deep Rock Galactic something. It's like a cell. It's not cell shaded, but it's like an artistic looking like mining game. Do you remember that?
That looks really cool. Yeah,
it looked pretty interesting. Yeah,
because it looked like it was cell shading, but without the dark outlines.
Yeah, the colors were really vibrant, and
Yeah, and
it's like a team. It's like a co-op game. It looks like so.
Yeah, because you look like a bunch of dwarves, but with like machine guns, and you were mining and stuff. And
yeah.
I mean, the art style is great. I don't know about the actual game though.
Well, we'll see.
I will see, but I will say that the artwork is very captivating. They mentioned something called What was it called? Player Unknown Battlegrounds. I've never played that.
Okay, they said that that's gonna be an exclusive when it launches on consoles for Xbox One.
Okay.
I don't know if that's timed exclusive or real exclusive, but that's pretty good. That's a pretty good exclusive for them to snag because people have been talking about that game nonstop. So.
Yeah, the first time I heard about it, I think was on Mega 64 when they did that Halo Fest sketch.
Did they say that too?
Well,
they mentioned that game.
They mentioned this game, the Player Ground, whatever, because they mentioned that we have Call of Duty, we have all this, and then we have Players Unknown Battlegrounds, but we don't have pussy things like Halo.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, hey man, respect the classics.
Yeah.
Okay?
I don't know that.
They got State of Decay 2, which zombie games.
That's
Everybody
zombie
still
stuff?
likes
Okay.
zombie games. Just zombie games.
Minecraft again.
All the 10-year-old YouTube streamers are screaming their heads off, being cross-platform, baby. And by the way, did you notice
the Switch
when they showed? Well, the Switch, yeah, but when they showed cross-platform play, they showed PC, they showed Xbox, and they showed Switch. No PlayStation.
Yeah, because their motto is "fuck Sony."
Sure.
Okay, that's not their motto, but you know what I mean. That's like who they're at war with.
Well, it makes sense, but it's crazy because they're like, yeah, come along, Switch.
I like that though. I
don't
like that consoles are doing that because, not to jump ahead here, but Rocket League is coming out for Switch, and it's also cross-platform.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that just means computer or if it means PlayStation and Xbox as well, because that would be very cool.
I was trying today to find that information.
Uh-huh.
I was at work, so I wasn't like diving into it too much, but I heard that Microsoft and Sony both do cross-platform play, but theirs for Rocket League meant Xbox and PC separate, and then Sony and PC separate as well. Like they don't cross from PlayStation.
That's so weird.
Yeah, but I believe I saw that it said Switch will cross-platform with console and with PC. So I'm guessing Microsoft and PC. No, I'm saying not
this weird
not like, Rocket League's not sharing it with
console
Sony.
racism thing going on here.
I don't know, man. It's just
segregation between online games. Just let them play together, man.
I know a lot of people who play Rocket League.
Martin Luther King would have something to say about this. I'm just saying.
I think there are bigger things in the country right now than Rocket League.
So we also got Dragon Ball.
Oh my gosh, that looks so good.
That looks really cool.
And that's one thing. Like I saw, I think it's all platforms because that game looks like it can run on Switch, no problem. But it looks fantastic, and it looks like a game that I could actually play. Because our nephew used to play those Dragon Ball Tatsu, whatever.
Well, I was going to say that, actually, is those other games that were made by Namco Bandai.
Yeah.
I couldn't really get into, like, those sidestepping 3D...
Me neither.
Like, fighting games, because they did Naruto as well.
Those are
not that I like Naruto, but those games do have, like, some sort of a community around them. But I could never really get into them. And this one is more of a traditional 2D fighter.
Yeah, that's why I was looking at it, because it's literally just you're pointed at each other.
And it's 3v3 versus 3. So
on some of them, yeah.
What do you mean? No, it's 3 versus 3.
What I saw was there's a 3-on-1 mode for certain characters. Like, for example, what I saw in the trailer...
Okay, but like... Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? It's like bosses or shit like that.
Are you saying like Perfect Cell might be a whole team and then...
Yeah, exactly. It might be something like that. So
I don't know then.
But I think you're right. I think there's 3-on-3 and 2-on-2 and 1-on-1. I think there's modes like that, is what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, anyway, the next thing on here is the Darwin Project. I don't know what the fuck that is.
I'm going to skip that one because I don't know what to make of that, to be honest.
Black Desert, which apparently is on other stuff. It wasn't.
Never heard of that.
This game called The Last Night looked pretty cool, actually.
It did, because it's combining weird like pixel art.
Yeah.
With some really traditional.
It had like realistic lighting, and like 3D models, but somehow still incorporated like pixel art. Like the characters themselves are pixel art and they're 2D, but the lighting and the shading and the like fog effects and stuff are all 3D rendered, and it looks very interesting. I was actually pretty interested by that.
It looked like I now I've never seen this movie, but what's that movie coming out with Harrison Ford? Blade Runner. It looked very Blade Runner.
Oh, okay, like a futuristic
city, but all this neon and it looked all rainy pretty and stuff. It looks really, really interesting. I hope it's a point and click. I want it to be a point and click.
I don't think it. The trailer is pretty much what everyone knows. Like that's the only information we have of it right now.
Right? Yeah.
The Artful Escape looked very.
Could be cool. Could be, but it might
looked a little too random to me. I was like, I don't know what they're going for.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a smidgen of where it was like, oh, music plays a role in this. I'm like, okay. Cuphead finally got a date.
Cuphead.
I mean, this is, again, none of this stuff, I don't think a lot of this stuff could be exclusive to
I
Xbox.
hope not, because I want to just be able to play that on computer or something.
Yeah. But I've been looking forward to Cuphead just because of the art style. And then Ashen.
I still don't know what.
I mean, the part that they showed off, which was like, I think this was in another place though, where they showed off what Ashen actually is.
All right, I'm just skipping the ones I don't know about because I don't want to talk about things I don't know about. You know, I don't want to mislead.
You know which one I'm looking at this list here? Super Lucky's Tale.
Oh yeah.
I know it's very cartoony and very very much. It looks like a kid's Spyro or something, but I actually that looks exciting to me.
All I know is when I saw that fucking orange tail pop up, I was like, "Is this Conker?" And it wasn't.
Sorry,
I was very mad because that's like the second time they've done that. You remember that with
with the glass or what was it? The hollow? No, it was a hollow glass or whatever.
No, well that too, but I meant more the that fucking game that was like about building stuff or something.
Oh yeah,
and he's just like, "We're gonna have to make our own game." And I was like, why the fuck would you do that? Like,
because he's recognizable. They're just teasing us with him all over the... Sea of Thieves.
More Sea of Thieves. They showed that last year too.
It looks fun though. Like I could see like if it's
I mean,
one of those.
It's rare, and it apparently they're letting them do like whatever they want with this game, so it could be pretty good.
It looks like they're focused on it being like a team sport kind of thing, which I can get into because I've been playing a lot of these free to play games.
I just don't like. I don't know if those were YouTubers that were in the commercial or whatever.
I think there were.
But I fucking don't like that, dude. It doesn't make me want to play the game when I see face cams and YouTubers like all over expressing themselves. Like,
I know exactly what you mean.
It's really. It seems so fake to me. Like,
not to jump ahead either, but I was gonna say this overall about not so much on Nintendo's side of it, but all the other press conferences. I was like. So apparently, if you're a YouTuber, they give a lot of shits about who you are. Otherwise, like F everybody else, because they only had like YouTubers and Twitch players everywhere. And
Nintendo had iJustine, and I was like,
did they?
Yeah, she was hosting something, and I was like,
she was hosting IGN, I think, wasn't she?
No, she was on Nintendo's thing. I'm pretty sure. Was she?
No,
I don't remember then.
Because all of Nintendo stuff was pre-recorded.
All I remember was I heard iJustine's name. And I was like, I only know of this fucking person because they're asked to do things like this. I don't know of any of her videos or any of her presence online other than these things, you know?
And it gets annoying because, like, it's a guessing game. Because if you don't know any YouTubers, you don't... Because these are YouTubers that just vlog.
Yeah, exactly. That's another good point, is, like, if you don't know who the fuck they are, it's kind of lost on you, isn't it? Like, you're just like, okay, who is this? Is this, like, Is this a comedian or something? Or
it's one of these vloggers. It's like they do news and stuff. And it's just, okay, who are they?
All right, but speaking of weird appearances, weird guest appearances, Terry Crews was in the Crackdown. Was it Crackdown 3?
Yeah. That was... I gotta say, Terry Crews is so freaking random that his little spiel...
This Old Spice thing, huh?
It just felt like an Old Spice commercial. I was like, sure, why not?
I wonder if that's insulting as an actor, you know, to come into something, you know, like for a part.
Yeah.
And the director just tells you, I want you to do it exactly like you did that other thing, you know, like that's how you get typecast, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of I think he's playing it up.
What I'm saying though is, do you think he's insulted by that? Like, do you want me to do my own
No, that's
thing?
what I mean. That's
like,
what I mean. I think he's playing it up. Like that's what people expect of him. So he's just like, I'm Terry Crews.
So he's going along with it.
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
And
he wanted.
I don't know. They plan to. I don't know if they're. Did you notice Aisha Tyler wasn't there yet this year?
I didn't. So let's see. That new Shadow of Mordor.
Shadow of War.
Shadow of War.
It looks cool, but to be honest, the old one, the one that was the one before this, I forget what it was called, but it was good.
Shadow of Mordor.
Was it Shadow of Mordor? Okay. It was good. I played it. It was great. I don't know if I'll play this one because this one looks way more complicated. Like you actually have to build an army. This one just looks
like more of it. Not like, and I don't mean that in a.
No, they've added this whole other element where you have to build an army by recruiting people.
Okay,
and
then... let me reword that. It's getting bigger now. Like,
yeah.
Everything that they had before is just now like pushed further.
Yes.
So instead of getting one guy, you can get a general who brings a whole army with him. Because remember, at the end of that trailer, he has like fucking 1,000 people with him.
Yeah, so it's turned into like half of it is a free roaming thing, and half of it is going to be an RTS.
Yeah.
Which I'm not a huge fan.
I don't know about that.
You have to literally. It looked like from the trailer. It looked like you position your people around a castle and you have to invade it.
Well, I mean, we don't know how it's going to look yet, but you know, maybe it's all AI. You know,
could be.
I don't know.
But that's what it seemed like to me. So I'm like, okay, that's cool, I guess. There's a lot of indie games. A lot of indie games.
Ori got a sequel, which a lot of people were excited for because they said the first one was really good. I never played it. Maybe I should try that game out.
Me neither.
And the big thing was Anthem.
Yeah, that mech suit thing looked really cool. Actually, it looked like Microsoft's version of Destiny.
Yeah,
if
more
I'm
or less.
being...
Well, I mean, it's Bungie, right?
Anthem?
Was it Bungie?
BioWare.
Yeah. Right. Oh, yeah. So, like, people were saying Mass Effect Andromeda...
you were telling me that while the trailer was playing, you were like, almost like mad. You're like, Andromeda looked like garbage because all the good people got pulled from Mass Effect and put on this. I mean, it looks like it's being worked on to the T because
to be honest, I probably won't play Anthem. One, because it's on Xbox, you know. Two, because it just looks kind of generic to me.
Is it exclusive?
It's not exclusive.
Okay,
but it looks like unique enough for me to think that it'll actually take off. Like the weapons they use and stuff and all that crap that they showed off actually look kind of cool.
Well, like as a person who played Destiny, not the entirety of it because I stopped playing really fast because the game got really, really repetitive.
Right.
But what...
it's not an MMO, right? This game, Anthem?
It looks like it is. Okay. Like you level things up. So it looks exactly like what a Destiny game would be, where you go out on missions, you collect loot, and you level yourself up through weapons and armor. So it's kind of like it feels very much like a Destiny, but this one has like 4 players as opposed to 3, which Destiny had. So I could see myself playing that because it's more about mechs. So you like upgrade your mech, not your own armor and stuff. Like
you can have multiple ones too.
Yeah, you can have multiple mechs. So you can have multiple suits of armor depending on what you go in.
I just saw him fly and I was like, that doesn't look bad.
Yeah, no, the flying thing was cool because that was one thing that was missing in Destiny is you travel to the planet, boom, you were there. It looks like this one you can travel to the different parts on your own, but you could travel real fast because you took off and then you took off and you went underwater and it was seamless.
Yeah.
So it's impressive in that aspect of it where you can go anywhere and do anything. I love games that let you travel in a quick manner. Like
since Zelda, I think that's kind of
the Zelda thing where you're able to float
expecting no loading screens anywhere now.
Exactly. So I mean that they wrapped with that. So that's the one that seems like they're pushing really, really heavily. They want to show off that they don't need Bungie anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope they like people were saying before E3 even started was like Xbox needs to kind of prove themselves, you know, because they're losing in sales. They need something to entice people, you know.
I think, as stupid as I think it is to invest so much in 4K, because Like, not a lot of media has jumped on 4K. Not a lot of people have 4K setups in their house.
I think,
but people I'm saying not a lot. I'm not saying that nobody does. I'm saying not a lot of people do. Like, I don't have one. You don't have one.
No.
But I know that people strive to want the best. So
Yeah.
if you're planning on getting a 4K TV, because most people are going to upgrade their TVs at some point,
yeah,
I think they're making a play for that. And I think, I mean, that price point's high, dude. $499. It's the same as what you bought an Xbox One for.
$499.
$499.
So it was the same. So it's not the high then. I thought it was a high price.
It's the same price as when I bought my Xbox One a long time ago.
Okay,
But
I mean,
like
because I'm going off of Nintendo consoles. I got my fucking Wii U for like $250, and I got my Switch for $300. So
yeah, it's just, I know what you're saying.
These consoles are expensive, man.
But I like that the option is that you can buy a lower end one and just play the games that
And
way.
then you gotta pay for their services too.
Yeah, no, don't get me started on that. But overall, Microsoft's presentation, I mean, it was okay. It wasn't great. It was okay, only because that price point was not what I thought it would be, and I was expecting a price drop on the Xbox One S. I was
at
like,
least they
drop
showed-
it to $200.
At least they showed games, you know.
That was one thing that I'll always say about Microsoft. Their presentations are always super slick.
Okay.
They're always like game, 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 and if they have to talk, they talk for a little bit, then game, 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 game. Like, they know how to present.
Yeah.
Because both Bethesda, Ubisoft, like all these even Intel, who's one of these big CPU companies.
Intel was at E3.
They had a press conference, and it was just like, it was awful, so awful. But yeah, I mean, overall it was okay. I wouldn't consider them like they did everything right and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then the next day we had Sony.
Yeah. So Sony started off with Uncharted, like I don't know what it is. It's like a DLC or it's like a new game, but it's starring.
It looks like a DLC.
It's starring the girl from Part 2.
The one with the dark hair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, I mean, I don't know. Like, I played Uncharted 2, right? That was the first one I had played, and I was like, it was pretty good, I think, right? And then
It's fun.
Part 3 came out, and I was kind of like, it's more of the same. You know, it was a lot shorter. I was like, whatever, right? Part 4 came along. I don't give a shit. I don't have a PS4. But I don't understand why like the writing in that game is given like a free pass, you know? Do you understand what I mean by that?
Yeah, I do.
The dialogue and stuff in that game feels like a shitty movie, and for some like reason people think that's good, or like that it's funny, like they play along with it. I don't understand that.
It's a lot of what I like to call exposition, where they're like, you get to a cutscene and all they do is explain what's happening, and it gets really it bothers me, because it was like, if this was actually a movie, this would be considered a shitty movie. Because
that's what I mean. If it was a movie, it would be considered shitty. So why is it acceptable for it to be in a game and be just as bad? You know, like
I don't understand that.
I only say that too because people consider those like movie, like, you know, cinematic games.
Yeah.
But like I recently went back and like played Part 2 with one of my friends because he had never played it.
What's that one? Honor Among Thieves?
I don't know.
Okay.
But it was hard to play because things didn't age well, like the shooting and like the I don't know. It just
No, I agree, because the one thing that Uncharted has for it is that going forward is that everyone that
has no replay value in my opinion. Like if you like the paths you need to take to do the platforming aspects are all exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's not exciting to me, you know? Like if you play a platformer, you know, like the point of it is to like make the jump on your own or something.
Yeah.
There's parts in that game where like you jump and it'll cut to a cutscene or something, or like you'll clip onto the ledge.
Yeah.
And Drake will always grab the ledge. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, what if you were playing a Mario game and he just clipped onto the ledge? And like, I don't know. That's just that I'm going off on a tangent here. Let's move on to the next one.
The next one was what? The
next thing was DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn.
And you know what? That game looked good when I saw it and it premiered and everything, but I think it suffered from the fact that like it came out right around the time that Zelda came
I
out.
don't know why they did that.
that was kind of stupid on their part because it turned into this scenario where like the Switch had just come out, and Zelda just came out, and then this game launched, which arguably is kind of a similar game. But people were way more excited about Zelda, and then this game, which I'm sure is really great, just got buried.
I don't, like, okay. I almost feel like maybe what Sony was thinking, was like, you know, Zelda's coming out, hardcore Sony fans might not even have a Switch, they might not give a shit, but let's give them something similar, you know?
I could see that.
That's kind of like Zelda.
I could see
Either that or they were just like, fuck Zelda. This game's gonna be way better. Which, I mean, it looked like you said, the game did look pretty cool. But why did they release it during Zelda?
It seems like a dumb idea to release it at the same time because they're so similar. But one was you can argue that one of them is obviously a superior game, because it has better graphics, it has more to it, blah blah blah. But the clamoring for people to want a Switch and to want Zelda on their system, you can't deny that that's a lot of it's a lot of news and it's a lot of a fan base. It's gonna you have to give Zelda its time because even if you hate Zelda, even if you think Nintendo's trash and everything, you can't deny that whenever Nintendo news comes out, there's always a fan base. There's always people reporting on it.
Yeah, it's a big deal. You'll hear about it.
It's gonna get its own. You need to give it its own time.
Not to mention they put it out on Wii U as well.
Yeah,
like, I know. All of my friends basically played it on Wii U. I'm like the only person that has a Switch, so.
Well, you and me.
Yeah.
But I think it was a dumb idea because you got an original IP going after something that's just well established.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
It's weird. They also, is it called Days Gone?
Yeah, it's another zombie game, and it looked interesting.
Right.
But it's another zombie game.
Yeah, it's just.
But
I don't hate video games. I really don't. But it's hard for me to get excited about games where it's like graphics are realistic and you shoot shit. You know, it's kind of.
Now.
There's just an abundance of them.
Yeah, but like I understand people say this to me. They're like, "Well, it's the same Mario game." It's like, yeah, but when was the last time we got a platforming Mario game?
Yeah,
Mario Galaxy 2.
Pretty spread out.
Yeah, but like seriously, you got State of Decay. You have things. You have like things like State
Metro.
of Decay 1 and 2. You have Metro. You have things like Dead Island. You have Days Gone. You have Daisy. Like we've been playing zombie apocalypse games now for like 10 years, and there's just a fatigue about it.
I wonder if they actually just all sell very well.
I mean, they must, but like personally, the last zombie game I played was Dead Island, and I only played it because it was like they gave it to me for free on Xbox Live, and a bunch of people were like, "Let's just get a bunch of." It's super glitchy, and it's super glitchy, and it's like, it's all based on like melee and crafting your own weapons and everything, but all of them react to zombies kind of differently. So it's a trash game, but we ran through it as a group of like 4 of us because it has just a ton of achievements in it. So we just ran through it just to get that, which really sucks because when you beat the game, it kicks you completely out, and it says new game, right?
You can't save.
But what sucks is that while we were doing that, we were connected to Xbox Live. One of our friends dropped out, and he didn't get that achievement. So he was like, "Oh my gosh, can we just go back to the last save?" And the last save was like an hour out. So I was like, "No, we're not gonna do that. Sorry." The other thing that I thought it's kind of cool was the Shadow of the Colossus remake.
Well, Monster Hunter came before that. We're going in order.
Oh, sorry, right. Monster Hunter. Has Monster Hunter ever been on PlayStation?
Yeah,
it has.
I believe it started on PSP. I'm not sure about that, but
because I've always known it to be on the DS. I've always thought of it as a DS game, and I was trying to find. I was just asking in my office, like, has Monster Hunter
3DS?
3DS, and it was on. I believe it was on. The one before that, yeah.
It was on Wii. It was on a lot of shit. I don't personally. God damn it! I know there's another game that I personally don't like. I'm sorry, but like I really tried hard to get into Monster Hunter on 3DS.
Yeah, because
I bought it because one of my friends wanted to play it. I really tried hard, but it just seems so like MMO-ish.
It is,
and I just can't get into like these grindy kind of like.
It does suffer from that.
Just go out and kill something, come back and get I don't know.
I'm sure and you know what? What was weird about this game, this trailer in particular, is that it was one person running around this world.
Yeah, it's usually like a group or something.
It's usually when they show it off, they show like groups of 4 and groups of 8.
Yeah,
they're
like
taking something out. But this one only showed one.
I don't know.
Which is could be just it's early and it's an early build. Which okay, I'll buy that.
Maybe.
But it didn't have a very it's a different one that I've seen because the Monster Hunters that I've seen on the Wii and the 3DS have all been kind of cartoony.
No, they're pretty realistic.
No, what I mean by cartoony is like
realistic as they can be.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like the guy in there looked like the guy from Sword of the Berserker. He had this huge sword on his back and blah blah blah. But some of the previous ones, it's like they have huge swords that this person could never really carry. This guy looked like
they're like okay, yeah.
They're a little more exaggerated. This one looked a little more subdued and realistic.
His run cycle looked kind of cartoony.
Well, yeah, okay. But I mean, that was about what was interesting about that because it's just Monster Hunter.
Okay, so now Shadow of the Colossus remake. You know what was really strange about this was like I really love Shadow of the Colossus, first of all. Shadow of the Colossus, Ico, I didn't play Last Guardian because I don't have PS4. But like those two games I really like everything about them, like the atmosphere, like the music, platforming, everything about those games is really good. I saw this game come up on screen and for some reason I wasn't excited. I was like, I don't know what it was. I think it's because those games hold up so well. Like they did that HD collection or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that.
They still look good. Like
that's the one that came with Ico, right?
Yeah, they're still like playable, and I just don't think it needs like a remake. You know, I don't know. I kind of feel like they're like once they make this, who the fuck's gonna want to go back and play the HD collection on their newer consoles? You know, I just feel like it's gonna replace some things. I don't know.
My only guess is that the Shadow of the Colossus remake, they're gonna add a bunch of the old, like it was. I think it's common knowledge now that there were more Colossi that were planned out for the game.
Yeah.
So my guess is that they're gonna put those back in. I mean, maybe they're just trying to revitalize it so that they can make some quick money off of that to move on to something else. I mean, it could just be a cash grab. But to be honest, if I had a PS4 and I saw that, I'd be like, and I didn't buy the HD one, I could see myself buying it.
That's what I mean. It's like people bought the HD one if you were interested.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand who this is for, basically. You know, like
it does seem like a little bit of a question mark because like the like I'm giving you prerequisites to having me buy it. So again, I said if I didn't buy the HD one and if I had a PS4, then I would buy this.
Like they're doing Crash, right?
Yeah.
Which they didn't show this year. Who gives a fuck? They're doing Crash, and it's like, okay, that's a PS1 game being completely redone.
Yeah.
Like this.
That's for people that were like, hey, you know what? That's great because it's all 3 games.
Yeah.
Nicely packaged, and then they added like you could play as Coco, which is the girl in it.
I thought you could always do that.
You could always do that.
In part 3, I believe you could play as her.
But you could play through all of them as Coco. So it's like cool. And it adds to it. But this, yeah, you're right. I don't know who this is for. Can we not talk about Marvel vs. Capcom? Because it's just like I don't know what's happening there. I don't know what is happening. And I think we've discussed it already, and I'm tired of talking about that game.
I think the building's on fire, and they're just people are running out. They're just sending off the assets as is.
Oh my god!
Nothing's
it's just
getting
like
finished.
I've been seeing these posts where they show. I told you this earlier. It's like a post of Chun-Li from either Street Fighter 4 or 5, and then a post and then a picture from Chun-Li in the trailer they released, and they're like meth. This is what it does to you because she looks bad. Dante looks even worse. Dante looks like a cracked out Kurt Cobain.
I know. He
looks so like who did the art direction on this?
I don't know. You know, a lot of people are saying like, oh, you know, the character models look bad, but the gameplay is good. And all I can say about that is the animations look fucking stupid in that game. Like Chun-Li's walk cycle looks really bad. There's like just the way things combo in that game. They don't look as fluid as they did in the previous game.
That could be the case because I was watching.
It just looks dumb.
I was watching. I think it was Justin Wong was showing off some combo videos for Thanos. And I was like, something feels off about this.
It just looks weird.
Something about it seems off, and I don't know if it's because, like, we were talking about this earlier in that, Marvel's Capcom 2 and 3 were ridiculous because it's all these characters coming together and it's super colorful, and that's why all of this works, because it's ridiculous, it's exaggerated, it's colorful. This, I think you said this before, it looks realistic, so these hyperactive movements and this exaggeration just doesn't work because this all looks too real. I don't know.
I think we could just cut
I think we're beating a dead horse.
Yeah, people talk shit on this game all the time now.
Yeah, this is nothing new. You're right. So let's see. What else did they go through? They went through
a new Call of Duty, World at War 2.
No, it's that was the old one. See, Call of Duty already did a game called World at War, but this is called Call of Duty World War II.
Oh, just
plain and simple, World War II. Okay. And it didn't look like they were showing gameplay, more like just a CG render.
I like World War II stuff. If it comes out on PC, maybe I'll try it.
I mean, you could play Battlefield 1, and that's about what it is.
Well, I was just gonna say, because like I don't really get into first-person shooters, but ever since Overwatch came out, that was the kind of game that actually grabbed my attention, because it's like they have abilities and the character designs are really crazy. So like, I don't know, maybe I'll check it out.
Well, I'll say this: I played Battlefield 1, and it's like they tried to do so much storytelling with this new game. Sadly, I was just like, I don't care, and I just played the multiplayer, which is much this. I don't know. I mean, they obviously
people don't play those games for the story though.
But they're like, I'll give you an example of what they tried to do.
Okay.
Battlefield 1, when you're playing, they go really like far up, and then they zoom in to one person, and you play that person. But if you die, it shows the name of that person and when they lived and died. Okay. And then you transfer to somebody else, and then it shows like that person lived and died. This is in a one-player mode. And then you go through these stories. You don't actually go through like levels. You just play these little stories of soldiers. It's just, it's weird. Okay. But I understand that they try to do a new version of like, it's like a new storytelling thing. And every story is a different type of vehicle. So it kind of teaches you how to play the multiplayer. Because the multiplayer is like tanks, airplanes, parachuting, horses, everything. Okay. And so each one of those kind of stories will take you through.
Wait, so Battlefield 1 is World War II?
It's World War 1.
Okay. Yeah. So are they just copying them?
Well, no, this is World War II, so there's Nazis.
Okay. But are they okay.
But it's
these companies are always each other, fighting, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So, but it's Call of Duty. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Destiny 2.
Destiny 2, yeah. I mean, like I said, I played the first one and it was fun. If they get rid of the repetitiveness of it, I'm all in. But I mean, Bungie does know how to make a pretty they know how to make addicting gameplay. Yeah. So, I mean, I played it for a while and I bought it day one and I was pretty satisfied with it for a while.
This game, so Destiny 2 and Battlefront 2 have like kind of like the same they sound like they're doing the same thing, where they're like, we're gonna make up for the first one. We really are. This one's gonna be good.
Man,
but I don't know.
Star Wars Battlefield 2
or Battlefront.
Oh my god. Yeah, Battlefront 2, whatever it's called.
I'm hearing a lot of people like, man, I was really burned by the first one, and I don't know if I want to give these guys more money.
It's true because I know I'm referencing Mega 64 a lot, but remember they did that Todd and Aaron's Game of the Year award, and they were like, best demo that turned out to be the whole game. Star Wars Battlefront. It's like, it was the whole game. They gave us the whole game in the demo. I was like, wow, yeah. That's funny. And that whole like. That I played only the demo because like when the demo was going on, you could play as like you turn into the hero part of it, like when you turn into Darth Vader and everything. Yeah, that kind of breaks the game.
Yeah, I think we said this last time too. But
plus the presentation for that was awful.
For what?
Do you remember how they did it?
For Battlefront?
Yeah, they had people playing it live, and they had like Twitch commentators and all that, and I was like. I know they're trying to push this as an esport, and I'm just like, can you not? Yeah. Just give me the game. Don't make it esportsy to me. Just give me the game. What a game's at.
All right. Then they showed God of War. A lot of people are calling it God of War 4.
It's not God of War 4 because it's not Kratos.
It's not Kratos?
No.
I thought it was.
That doesn't look like Kratos to me.
I think it's the same guy.
I don't think it's Kratos.
I think well, regardless, in my completely honest opinion, I think it looks like shit.
No.
It just...
You want to let me say something first then, and then you'll jump in.
Yeah, sure. By all means, go.
So
go
it doesn't feel like a God of War to me.
Yeah.
Because God of War 1, 2, 3, and even what was the one on PSP? It was like something Chains or something like that.
Yeah, Chains of Olympus and Ghost
Chains of Olympus. All of those had this really arcade, it had
hack
this
and
like
slash.
It had a hack and slash feel to it, and this doesn't feel like a hack and slash.
It almost feels like they never played God of War. I'm like, do you understand why those games were fun? You just go around doing ridiculous shit, you know? Like, it's not supposed to look realistic. It's not supposed to... I don't give a shit about some kid following me, like, walking through a forest. Like,
yeah, that was very...
Kratos is... Like, I don't... That's the most annoying thing, honestly. It's my biggest pet peeve in, like, video games, newer video games, is when they force you to walk slow, and then they talk. Or, like, they force you to walk slow, and then, like...
It's a way to hide a loading screen.
Fucking radio comes on or something, and you have to listen to... I hate that so much.
You know who...
Because it's like, you can't... You usually can't skip it.
No, you can't.
And it's just like... I'm like, okay, so this section of the game, I'm always going to go this fucking slow. I hate this, you know?
Yeah.
Like...
And I remember in God of War, you just ran through while they were saying when they were saying things. You could just run, like when the gods were talking to you and stuff. And by the way, it didn't see any gods in that freaking trailer.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with this game, but
I mean, it's supposed to be, from what I understand, is like just from the trailer, just watching the trailer, nothing else. It's not Kratos. Like again, this is from what I see. I didn't read anything. This is like going off what we just saw on the trailers. No Kratos. You got a companion. You have a wife. You had a wife at some point, and it's like Norse gods. So it's like runes, and it's gonna be like Odin and all this kind of stuff. It doesn't feel like a God of War. It almost feels like a better version of Rome. One of the premiere games.
It's called Rise.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's called Rise something Rome.
Yeah.
So it feels like that because it had that stuff where it was like you're hacking and slashing, but it's really slow.
You know what though? To be completely fair, I will wait till it comes out. You know.
When is it coming out? Is it coming out this year or next year?
I don't know.
Feels like we've been waiting for that game for at least a year.
They announced it last year, so
yeah.
It's been,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. I don't know. It's Santa Monica Studios. It's the same guys, so. I hope the spirit of it is still there, you know? Because I actually do like those games, you know?
Yeah, no, they're fun. And that's the thing. It's like, that's why I play things like Devil May Cry. That's why I play things like Bayonetta, because they're fun hack and slash.
Those are a little different, though, to be completely honest. But let's not get into that. That's a whole other conversation.
And they ended with Spider-Man.
You skipped ahead, man.
What? Oh, Detroit. That's right, Detroit.
So Detroit is next on the list. Detroit is the new game by David Cage. If you don't know who David Cage is, he made Heavy Rain, and he also made Indigo Prophecy.
That was the chronologically, it's Indigo Prophecy, then it's Heavy Rain. And it was like he's always trying to push like a new form of gameplay.
Those are games I like because they suck. So I don't know.
I think it's if anybody's listened to any of these podcasts, they know that your tastes sometimes are like, it's so bad that it's good.
Yeah, you know what, though? It has to be a certain kind of suck.
Yeah, I know. It's like, why would they do this?
Because the ending of Indigo Prophecy is it's abysmal. It's so shitty. Like, I mean, if you have a chance to play Indigo Prophecy, I would say go back and play it, because it's...
I think it's on Steam.
It's fun. I think it's fun just because it's so fucking stupid. And
I'll play a dumb game. I play dumb games just... Well, let's not get into
it. Heavy Rain as well.
Oh my god.
It has that same kind of thing to it. Yeah, we all played it together. I remember
we all just kind of watched each other play it because it was like, it's all QuickTime events.
It was like 3 of us in the room, and then when it got to the sex scene, it was just really awkward. All of us sitting there like watching 2 video game characters having sex.
And we're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But even the end, it was so contrived, and like it wasn't a mystery. And
can't you change the ending in that game?
You could change there's different endings, but like I saw the whole thing coming.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's set up in such a way where it's like, okay, gotcha.
I think that game's still pretty enjoyable, just for the reasons I said. Like,
but you can.
There's parts of it.
Let's just say this. Let's just say, remember when we were talking about Just Dance the other day with our niece.
Yeah.
It's like you could pop that game. You could just watch a YouTube video of that game.
I think you should play it.
No, dude. Because you'll get.
It's only like $5. You get you get it for really cheap. I would say, if you have the opportunity to play Heavy Rain, you should check it out. And it's really short. We beat it in one night, right?
Fair warning, it's all QuickTime events.
Yeah.
So get ready to see the same scene over and over again just because you didn't hit the right button at the right time.
I know. I hate that too. But like I said, it's the game. It's funny to me. I don't know.
And so
I would mess up on purpose just to see them die and stuff. You know.
All right. So let's get off of Heavy Rain because I hate that game. But so this Detroit game that they're talking about now, it seems like it's the same thing. There's not really gameplay, but there's parts of it where you can choose what you want to do, and that'll lead to a new story arc.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that looks like fun, just to be able to see something, but it's almost like a visual novel.
Yeah, it honestly looks... The way they're trying to sell it is exactly how they try to sell Heavy Rain.
Yeah, it's like a movie. It's an interactive movie.
The graphics look super realistic, and they're trying to make you care about these characters, you know, like...
And they put a lot of time in the trailer to facial reactions. And like they're really trying to push this acting thing, where like people are acting.
Because the guy is actually an actor,
right? And so
it's the guy from Grey's Anatomy,
which you keep saying that,
which
but
I
don't know who that is.
Probably the only one who knows that.
But again, in the trailer, they really like zoomed in on faces, and they were like facial reactions. But there's a part of me, and maybe it's this whole uncanny valley thing, where if something is trying to get hyper realistic but isn't quite there, it just all looks fake to me, and I can't get past that.
Yeah, I could see that.
But if the story is really engaging, I'll play that game at least once. Maybe I'll just do what I did before. Go over somebody's house and watch them play through it.
How does this guy keep getting money?
I mean, it looks really pretty.
Yeah.
It does. And, you could sell, like, dystopian future where the whole world is destroyed. That seems to be the one thing you can say that automatically gets a game funded.
A city that wasn't destroyed was Spider-Man City. Do you remember this?
Yes. They ended with this.
Yeah. Which
I thought was kind of strange.
Yeah.
But when you consider the fact that they're going to be making a Spider-Man movie,
I think this one grew on me.
It makes sense.
Because they said, we're going to end with this, right?
Yeah.
And they started showing Spider-Man, and I was like, why the fuck would you end with this, right? But it's Insomniac Games. I believe they did Sly Cooper, some other shit. I don't know.
Insomniac or Sucker? Didn't you say Sucker Punch?
I think it's Insomniac, actually.
Okay. But if that's the case, then they did, I believe Insomniac did Infamous.
Oh, okay. I don't know what the fuck they did. They're doing this Spider-Man, and as the trailer went on, it kind of grew on me. I did start to like it. It looked a little bit like the Arkham games.
Yeah, I kept making that comparison because...
Like the Batman combat where he kind of just flies to every enemy and...
Yeah, so it looks... I mean, we didn't get to see somebody actually play it, but the way it was set up is push triangle to counter, push B to use your webs, and push X to attack. And then A to dodge or jump or whatever during combat.
It's on a PlayStation already.
Sorry. Triangle to counter.
Okay, we don't need to hear this again. Okay. I get your point, though.
And then the other part that seemed very Arkham City was the whole city's available to you, right?
And that genuinely looks cool to me.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man 2...
That's one of the reasons I liked Arkham City was the freedom you could go anywhere and do anything. And then in that game, Batman can fly.
Yeah.
But what he does is he points to a rooftop and you push a button and he clips onto it and zooms over. Spider-Man, however, does the same thing, except now because he's Spider-Man, he can run on walls. And he can pull himself towards buildings and do that. So the whole thing looked exactly like an Arkham City game. And I'm like, Spider-Man, Arkham City type game, I'm in.
Yeah, the only thing is that part that they showed in the trailer looked like super scripted, super Uncharted kind of vibes.
That's the part where I was like, don't... it's going to have a bunch of QuickTime events.
Well, I'm like, if that's the only part of the game that's like that, that's fine. But I just don't want every fucking time I turn on this game, I'm playing the exact same thing, you know? I want it to be... Yeah, I want some freedom there.
I'm just
can I get to the helicopter before it crashes and then maybe get an achievement or something? I don't want to always he's running through the building and it's crashing and all that
part seemed like it's a tease because they're like, ooh, it went into a building, but then at no other time can you go into a building.
Yeah, like there's not a real threat here.
Exactly.
You understand,
and
like
the reason the QuickTime events made me cringe so much was I hate it because it's lazy.
Sure.
Because you have to either program this whole thing so that a player can figure out how to do this, or you just make it a scripted event where the player just inputs buttons. If not, they just jump back.
I mean, I don't want to get too much into this, but I just think that's kind of part of this whole new way of making games where, like, people need to justify their purchase or they need to be able to see everything in this game. You know,
Yeah.
like one of the Mortal Kombat games that just came out, or I should say the latest one, during, like, the story mode fights, you can just skip the fight. So I'm like, you don't even need to play video games anymore.
Are you serious? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Well, the last thing I'll say about Spider-Man is it looks like they're doing it just to obviously push the movie for next year, which I'm in for a Spider-Man because
I kind of like
Marvel's
the costume,
helping.
actually.
Yeah, Marvel's helping to write it.
Uh-huh.
So I'm in, and I want to like this game. But I hope that the QuickTime events aren't like throughout the game.
Yeah.
Because
we'll see.
I will say that the last Arkham City game, they added like a touch of QuickTime events.
Uh-huh.
But they did it in a way where it wasn't annoying.
Okay.
So it's like what it looks like, and I can't prove it because everything in that trailer was done perfectly. So it's like whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming that if you fail a sequence, you have to go and rewind to the beginning of that sequence and do it all over again.
I hate that shit.
That's what I'm saying. But in Batman, if you mess up, it's like, okay, well, you messed up, so fight your way out of this instead of just, being able to skip it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it doesn't throw you back. But it teaches you to know
to be aware.
Exactly.
Okay. I get you.
What I mean? So
okay. So that was it for Sony.
So that was it for Sony, and overall, again, I give them it's an okay because, like. They showed a lot of old stuff and just some new stuff, but nothing really kind of blew me away.
I think they kind of, for lack of a better word, I think they kind of blew their load last year because things that
the VR?
No, I mean, like, Final Fantasy VII Remake didn't even show up this year. Shenmue 3 didn't even show up this year. Like,
well, okay, to be fair, the Final Fantasy did show up, but it showed up as VR.
That was Final Fantasy 15. I'm talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah, like, and according to Square Enix, like, oh yeah, the Final Fantasy VII Remake isn't going to be done for like the next 4 years, 3 years, or something like that.
What is the hell is taking so long?
I don't know. I mean, whatever, right?
Nobody's going to care by that point. But anyway.
I know. That's what people are saying.
Maybe you're right. Maybe this is one of those lull years, you know what I mean? Like, where everything's kind of like, these are just all the games we have. We don't have a new console yet, so here's all the other stuff.
Well, it's just because like they started out with Uncharted like side character story, and then fucking DLC was their second thing. I was like, come on, dude. Like,
well, maybe you're right.
But like I said, like I think they just busted their nut too early.
Well, I mean, they in my opinion, their VR thing is what they kind of banked on. Is like people want to buy VR.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's like maybe they don't need to.
Yeah,
maybe like they're doing well enough. Maybe they don't.
Yeah, so maybe that's the case. So like overall, like I said, Microsoft did okay, Sony did okay. Well, now we're moving on to Nintendo.
Yeah.
And by the way, this was kind of weird. Like both Sony and Microsoft did 60-minute presentations, so it was like half an hour.
Yeah, and Nintendo's was like 25.
And it was all pre-recorded, and they just don't. It was like, we're going to give you 25 minutes, you're going to like it, and we're going to have like some people talk about the games afterwards. Yeah. So that's going to even everything out. But it was just like...
Like, they did this last year, though, too. In their Treehouse thing afterwards, they like were still announcing games.
Yeah.
Like, they were premiering games on their Treehouse. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like...
Yeah, kind of a little annoying, because like, okay, so let's walk through it. So the first thing they showed off was the Xenoblade Chronicles. And again, this is one of those things where you and I have never played these.
I was kind of scared that they started off with this because I was like, fuck, dude, I really don't care about Xenoblade.
Yeah, but
at all.
I mean, is, like, people love...
I get it. You know, the girls got huge breasts. I get it. You know, people are going to want that. I understand that. You know, I fully understand. I just don't... I don't know. I can't get into anime RPGs.
Totally with you. I'm totally with you. But we will point out that Xenoblade Chronicles, the one that came out on Wii, I remember it at one point was like $100 game because it was one of those games that if you have it,
yeah, I know what you're talking about. The one that had a Shulk in it, right?
Yeah. So it was like so many people really coveted that game that it was super popular.
Yeah,
so
they remade it. Though,
I understand why they showed it off first because you got to understand Nintendo's a Japanese company first and foremost. They got it, whatever.
They got its fan base.
And the game looks fine.
And it's got fan service.
The game looks fine, but to be honest, the second one is what I was like, oh, cool, new. They got a new Kirby game coming out, which
I love Kirby. That is like, I'm gonna say that's my guilty pleasure because I bought the last one I bought was Planet Robobot.
That's the one where he's in a little mech, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Those games are pretty fucking easy, but like, they're
enjoyable.
Feel good, like vibes. Just happy-go-lucky Kirby. Some like just solid little puzzles every now and then. Platforming. I don't know. Maybe it's nostalgia. I've always liked
it
Kirby.
Could be, but I mean the gameplay's always been really solid on those, and they always do something kind of fun and interactive with it. They don't just do the same game over and over again. What I like about this one is it looks like they have a drop-in system, so you can play like 4 players.
Yeah, co-op. I was like, dude, that's fucking perfect.
I'm kind of scared of that because when Mario did it, it was like
but it was so
awful.
But it was so good in Superstar, dude.
It was
like if it's similar to Superstar, I'm in.
But wasn't Superstar only 2 players?
Yeah, fucking Super Nintendo only had 2 controllers.
I know. I'm just saying it could be good, it could be bad. But the game overall,
you're saying it's gonna be chaotic with 4 people.
That's what I'm saying.
It might be. Who knows? We'll have to see.
But again, you don't have to play it 4 players. They announced a new Pokemon RPG.
They announced just some guy saying like, "Hey, we got a fucking Pokemon coming. Don't worry."
So and then 1 billion 7-year-olds blew their loads, and it was like, okay, well there you go. They got Pokemon Go. They got this, and then they got Poke Tournament coming out for the Switch. They're covered for the next.
I don't give a shit about Pokemon. I'm sorry. So
it's fine, but what I'm saying is like they got themselves covered for the next like 2 years. The real big announcement for me was like Metroid Corruption or Metroid Prime 4. I was like, say what? It's like how long has it been since the last one? It was Wii was the last one.
Metroid Prime 1 is like one of my favorite games of all time. I don't really like Part 3
because it's got Wii controls. I know.
Yeah, and I look, when I saw this announcement, I was like, Metroid's back. I'm so happy. Like that's great, but at the same time, I'm like, if they use the same controls that like Corruption used, or if they even try to use like motion controls, I'm gonna fucking hate it.
Well, dude. I think there are gonna be motion controls, but because of the way the Switch is set up, you can't do what you were doing in Part 3.
You know what though? Okay. During that ARMS demo thing, I was not really digging the motion controls. Right. You can switch to regular, like you just use a controller. Yeah. I hope to God they do the same thing with Metroid. Like. I think have some motion controls for people that want to use it, fine. But just let me use a fucking controller, like please.
I really think this is going to be exactly like Prime, where that the lock-on system, the shuffling around, it's going to all be the same because there's no pointing feature anymore. You can't point at the screen to do that stuff. Oh, and if you're going to be playing on a handheld,
no shit.
Like there's no way that you can do the. Dude,
Metroid Prime 1 is so good.
Okay, and just so you know, just so everybody knows, I really liked Corruption 3, or Part 3, which is Corruption. I liked using the Wii controls, as I've said many times. I think it was good to do the pointing system, but blah, blah, blah. But I will play this because I did love Metroid Prime, and I did play Part 3, and I love that. But just the fact that they announced it, I was like, dude, they're setting up for next year. Yeah. Because next year I think is going to be, you know how they did like the year of Luigi or whatever? It's going to be like the year of Metroid next year or something. Because not only did they announce that.
But, okay, so this is what we were talking about. Once the presentation ended. Yeah. They just started playing fucking Metroid on 3DS and everyone was like, what?
Yeah,
like, you can't just because like you can't just start playing this.
Okay, so before we get to that, because it was just like they were throwing these games out fast. Like everything was really fast in this thing. It was really The presentation was really tight.
Yeah.
And it was like Fils-Aimé in the beginning, Fils-Aimé at the end kind of thing. So after Metroid, and Metroid wasn't even, they didn't show any gameplay or anything.
They showed a fucking JPEG and
they
that was it.
showed a JPEG and then that was it. But then they showed Yoshi coming up next.
Oh yeah, Yoshi.
And I know Yoshi's not your boy, but when I was watching this...
I hate Yoshi.
That's right. When I was playing this...
The character Yoshi, I hate him for some reason. I don't know why.
When I was watching this, a bunch of people were texting me because they're like, "Yeah, it's a new Yoshi game." I was like, "Really, Yoshi?"
The Yoshi
I mean, he just had a game called Woolly World, and it was that long ago.
Woolly World was actually pretty good.
I liked Woolly World. Don't get me wrong.
As much as I hate Yoshi, I did think it was really good.
It was a good one. I was just like, a Yoshi game already?
Yeah.
I thought that was... But, I mean, people like it.
Yeah, people love
and it
Yoshi,
looks solid, and I always love the art style they go with, because Yoshi, they can always be a little more playful. Actually, you know what Yoshi reminded me of? Animal Planet. Or no, not Animal Planet, sorry. What was that weird one with Sackboy? What was it called?
Little Big Planet.
Little Big Planet. They remind me of that art style.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Which I was,
cardboard and strings and buttons and crafts and shit.
Yeah, I like that style. Then they went to Zelda.
Zelda DLC.
Yeah, so this was like right smack in the middle.
The only thing I'm going to say about this, okay, they had a very cool piece of art. It's like him standing in front of a Lionel.
Golden Lionel.
Yeah, and it's like gigantic. That picture looks badass. I really like that picture.
I bought the DLC already.
Yeah.
But before this was even announced. So
I don't even understand it. So like, okay, that first thing that they announced with the Lionel is just more like combat or something, right?
What it said, what I saw was a bunch of trials. Okay. And where you're nude.
Oh yeah, trial by the sword, so you don't have armor or anything. You just have to collect everything there.
Yeah, like I believe in Breath of the Wild main game, once you get to a certain island, they strip you nude. Yeah. And they say you only get what you get here, and it's kind of like a trial. Yeah. So it looks like a bunch of those, like trials or whatever. But not only that, they added a couple new variations of the monsters. The Golden Lionel being one of them. All right. They showed the Majora's Mask. They showed the little leafy mask. They showed a bunch of new armor. I mean, it looks like they're adding a lot for the first DLC, but they didn't. But what I thought was super cool was he announced that, remember those 4.
The champions.
The champions, you get to play with them in the game.
Are you sure?
Yeah, they said that you could play them. They're going to be playable. He didn't say in what capacity. As in, he didn't say that you could use them throughout the game. You couldn't use blah, blah, blah. But he said you were going to be able to play them. That's what the amiibos are like for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I actually didn't. I thought it was just the figures or whatever.
No,
okay.
It's...
Cool.
Okay, well... That's what I heard. If I'm mistaken,
okay, let me just read it to you. I'll cut this part out. The second larger expansion is called the Champions Ballad and will feature the 4 champions of Hyrule.
Okay, so that's
maybe they will.
So DLC Part 2 is going to be where you get to play them. Whether or not you get to play them in the real world or if it's just during like these trials is something else. But those amiibos, oh my poor wallet, because I have to buy all 4 of these. I have to have all 4 champions. Because one of the things that Breath of the Wild I thought was like, man, look how cool these guys look, and you don't get to play them.
Yeah. Okay. I get you. I don't really care. The only amiibo I got was the Zelda one. Mm-hmm. The one where it's just Zelda.
Yeah.
Because like a bunch of the other Zelda ones worked already. With the game. So.
Yeah. And they give you something. So
I mean, I have to see what these do first, before I'm gonna start spending money on them.
I'm definitely gonna play it because, like you said, the Zelda one, the Link one, and the like, what those things, the Guardian ones. I was like, I'm okay because
they are making those other Zelda ones though. The Skyward Sword, was it Skyward Sword, Majora's Mask, and something else?
Yeah,
it's gonna get you that armor.
Yeah, but this is something different because these are 4 new, quote unquote, new characters. You know what I mean? Like those are unique looking dudes, and they look fantastic.
Yeah, they look
like
pretty
they look
cool.
really detailed and cool. Like the other day when we were at Target, we saw the Fire Emblem. We saw those like new ones.
Yeah,
and they didn't look as detailed. I was like, okay, maybe these aren't big characters or something, but the ones that they showed, they looked really cool. So I want to just get them because they're
the Fire
they
Emblem
look
ones.
cool.
I thought they looked pretty good actually.
The new ones that came out.
Yeah,
I think the Marth and the Roy that came out before that looked way better.
No, I don't know about that.
Well,
okay.
Let's agree to disagree.
The Marth, dude. The Marth. He had a funny face, dude.
You could get a funny face one. I remember.
Okay, that's the problem right
there.
Okay.
Well, anyway.
The quality doesn't vary in these new ones. I think they know what they're doing now, you know?
Maybe.
Okay.
The other big announcement was, I think this was a big announcement for the Switch because it's like Rocket League. I know a lot of people that play that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't play it because most people play it on PC.
Rocket League is a fucking $20 game that like is addictive and stuff. It's gonna sell on this thing.
But
it might as well be Minecraft.
The biggest thing they said was it's cross-platform.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
So PC,
I hope,
and console.
Yeah. What?
Well, console except for Sony.
No, I mean I don't know how they're gonna do it, but my hopes are if I get it on Switch, I can play with my friends on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, and you can play with James too, because actually, I don't think you're gonna be able to play on PlayStation 4. I think it excluded Sony.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so maybe not.
Okay. So just.
But that was kind of crazy. Well, it looks like it because it's like I don't know what's happening, but they're all let's all play together except for Sony. I don't know what this hatred for Sony. I don't know where it's coming from, but apparently that's how it is.
And then their big game, Mario Odyssey, was their big thing.
It looks. Oh my god, they buried this secret for so long, and it just opened this game up.
What do you mean?
So much. The hat thing that they announced.
Mm-hmm.
Just that. This is how.
You mean
this is how awesome that they know how to sell something too. Because before it was just look at Mario in this new big world. There's a city. There's a desert. There's a this, and all they were showing was like, look it's like Mario Galaxy. All this like cool stuff that you can jump on and blah blah blah. And then they didn't show how the hat worked at all.
They showed that you can like jump on it or something.
Yeah, you can show you. They gave you like a little taste. They just gave you a little sample, and then here they showed a huge dinosaur, then you just possessed a dinosaur. Yeah. I was like, what?
You can even possess human beings.
You can possess human beings. You can possess a car. People were making jokes because when Mario possessed the cab in New York, it's like your lift is here because it's got a mustache and a hat.
Yeah, I get you.
And it's just that little mechanic. I was like, oh my gosh! Then you could possess a Goomba, a turtle,
everything,
a frog.
They were saying actually in the gameplay tournament, like the gameplay afterwards, they're like, just throw your hat at everything. You can possess trees it opens. And shit.
It's like one of those little small things that Nintendo adds to a game to make everything different.
Yeah.
Now when you possess a Goomba, you have certain powers to do a certain thing. And now you can do it with a turtle, will give you certain powers, blah, blah, blah. Everything gives you a certain power because you're now this hat thing.
Yeah, it looks good.
The only thing that I was like questioning was there's new amiibos that come with this.
Yeah.
And it's Mario, Bowser, and Peach in wedding attire.
Yeah, the wedding cake toppers.
Yeah. Here's the weird thing. So when they went to the treehouse thing, one of the guys was wearing the Mario hat with the eyes. The other one was wearing the top hat, but it also had eyes.
The top hat is apparently like the hat in its native form. So the hat like shapeshifts or something.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that part. Because again, like they ended with this trailer, right?
You want to know what I know so far about the game?
What do you know so far about the game?
There's a group of people that are wedding planners and they're evil. That's why the whole theme of the game is like weddings.
Oh, okay.
So it's like these four little baddie dudes that are like they're like I don't know if they're Bowser's fucking minions or whatever, but they're evil party planners, and I assume the hat came from them somehow, and Mario just kind of like
because you're not collecting stars, you're collecting moons in this one.
Yeah.
Does that have anything to do with?
I don't know, but I will say when I was watching the game, it did this thing where like once you got a moon, it would show you which star you got, and it had like it reminded me of Mario 64, and I love that.
Where it had the title of that particular star. Yeah. Because it was like Bob-omb's Battle Bomb-omb, and it was like you picked that star to go after, but each star had its title.
Yeah, like one of them was like underneath the roots of a tree or something, and I was like,
so the name of the star gave you a clue as to what you had to do.
Yeah, it's cool.
I definitely like. I was watching that gameplay and I was like, dude, I just want to walk around in this world.
I know that's the only problem is like when I like E3 this year, I was like, they're gonna show more of that Mario game, and at the same time, I was like, I just want to fucking play it already. Like, I don't want to see a trailer this year, and then, but they gave us a release date, so we won't have to wait too long. It's October, I believe.
Yeah, it's October this year. They only showed two. I think it was 2 games that are going to come out next year, which is Kirby's one of them. Kirby's next year,
and Yoshi.
And Yoshi's next year. So I mean, they gave us something to look forward to, but they're like, we're really just concentrating on this year. They barely touched on ARMS. They barely touched on it.
Comes out next week.
Exactly. They were just like, we're not going to waste time with it. You know, ARMS is coming out, so we're not going to waste time on it. So it's like they did a good job.
But
then they end, and then they go to a talking point, and then I see on my Twitter feed they're like, go back. They're still announcing games, and I was like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Go back.
Metroid.
New Metroid on 3DS.
A remake of Part 2 from the Game Boy,
which is
awesome. Which is arguably the shittiest Metroid game ever made. Metroid 2. I remember we had that game for Game Boy and I fucking hated it. I didn't know what to do in that game. I could never figure out what to do with that game. Anyway, this is a remake and it looks really good. I mean,
yeah, two things that I thought were awesome. One is that they added a lot more they added like cutscenes that help kind of push the story forward so you kind of know where you're supposed to go.
Uh-huh.
So that's great, but the second thing is they added like this what is it? This teching system where you could like Samus has like this melee where she can like tech a hit and then get some hits in herself.
You mean like a parry ability?
Like a parry, sorry, yeah.
Well, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's just like a setup basically. And
yeah, but the reason I called it like a tech is because with during the trailer when she uses it against regular enemies, they like get stunned so she can shoot them, right? But when it came to a boss, like a boss character, when she teched them, she parried them, it went into a cutscene where she like shoots them, like she puts the thing up in their guts and shoots them. And I was like, okay, so depends on what you're fighting.
That's whatever.
Just like in Zelda, when you tech, when you tech a guardian, it's different than when you tech.
I'm not a huge fan of the whole like parry something and then you go into a cutscene, but whatever, we'll see how it works. I
kind of like it.
Other M did it like a little bit different. Other M was like when you stun them, you can finish them off with like a little move.
I kind of like it because one of the games I like to play a lot is Shank, and they do that during a boss fight, so because there's no indication about how much health that person has. What you have, there's a bar at the top, but what I mean is like while you're fighting it, there's no, he's not flashing or anything. But you get these moments where you get to like grab them and do a little cutscene, and that kind of sparses but it just takes a little more out of them. But what it does is it gives you like a beginning, middle, and end to the fight.
I see what you mean. There was parts in like Devil May Cry 4 that did that.
Yeah, and it does the same thing where it's like beginning, middle, and end.
If you grabbed them, you did damage, whatever.
Yeah, and I kind of like those. If they're used right, I like them. But that's a very cool announcement to make, and I don't know why they didn't just make a trailer for it. Like during the presentation. They were just showing. They were like, "Oh, and by the way, here's a new Metroid." Boom.
Yeah, I have no idea what they were thinking, but that's cool. I'm excited. I'm glad another Metroid game's coming out.
Like I kind of hate that this game's not on my Switch because I take my Switch everywhere, and I'm gonna have to.
Well, now you're gonna have a Metroid game for both. I think that's the whole point.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's great. I think Nintendo did a good job. I think better than the other two. And I don't know if that's just me being a fanboy, but it feels like they had the best showing only because it's all good. Like all their games were like.
This is what I'll say about them. I hope it's not like PlayStation like this year. Okay, let me reword that. Sorry. They only showed off like seconds of things. Showed Metroid Prime 4's like logo. They showed like Kirby's like maybe like a couple seconds of gameplay. Yoshi, same thing. I hope next year they have more stuff and not just more of this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was honestly like, my only hopes for this E3 was like, just put shit on the eShop so I can buy stuff for my Switch because I really don't have a lot to play. And unfortunately, they didn't put up anything during E3, and it wasn't like a hey, special E3 present, to go download this demo or go download like a complimentary game or something. I don't know. Just give me something to play on the fucking Switch already, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this week you bought Shantae.
I bought Shantae and I beat it in a day, and I was like, I'm stupid.
And I bought Street Fighter, which, man, I hate that I have to keep buying Street Fighter, but I will say Street Fighter is always a solid game to me.
Yeah, I mean,
but I hate that I have to keep buying it.
Yeah.
I will say though, having it on the Switch, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
I love it.
It sucks that you had to pay $40, but we were saying this before. It's like Street Fighter 2 is so fucking solid. Like you really can't beat that game.
Except for like if you don't play Ryu, or if you don't play Akuma or Violent Ken or Ryu, the game is still like solid.
Yeah,
because characters are broken.
Yeah, they break the game.
But I mean, that's overall. That was the E3. That was like all the press conferences.
That was our recap. That was our little rundown of what happened. Our likes and dislikes. Yeah, if I were to rate this E3 on a scale of like 1 to 10, it's whatever. I'll give it a whatever out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The stuff that I liked was in the Switch, but doesn't it feel like right now? Doesn't it feel like Sony and PlayStation have their launches?
Sony and PlayStation?
Sony and Microsoft have their launches, and then the Switch is just off doing its own thing.
Yeah, I mean that's how it's been for the last couple of years, dude.
Yeah, I mean overall, I would give this the C3 was good. Like one thing we didn't talk about because it wasn't on the Nintendo thing was like it was announced on Ubisoft, but Ubisoft announced that Rabbids with Mario game.
I wasn't even gonna talk about that. Yeah,
it's important to know just because it's another Mario game that's gonna come out, and it's gonna come out sooner than I believe sooner than Odyssey, and it's if you've ever played XCOM or like something like Advance Wars or anything like that, it's a Mario game like that.
Yeah, people were saying it might be good. It looks pretty polished. So
when my kid was born, I bought a game that I knew was going to take me a while to beat called Codename Steam. And it's this same game. It's like you move your character through this grid and you fire.
I don't like those games.
I know you don't.
I bought Fire Emblem Awakening, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Same thing. I tried super hard to get into that game because I had friends that liked it.
Me too.
I just couldn't do it, man. I don't know what it is.
But I did beat Codename Steam.
Yeah.
Did I? But I know I played it pretty heavily, and I did enjoy it up until a point. So I'm going to give this a try because, I don't know, it's another game on my Switch. Like, I have so many games on there now that I've beaten the crap out of, and I just want more.
Because, like, ARMS is coming out, and I honestly...
I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait on ARMS.
I played the demo of it, and I was just kind of like... It's like a very simplest... It's a very simple game.
Yes, it is.
There's not really execution in it. I don't understand how a game this simple is supposed to give me, like, hours of fun. You know, I played it for, like, maybe, like, 20 minutes, and I was like, I think I got everything out of this game, you know?
Okay, let me pose this question then. Could you make the same argument for Splatoon?
No. Splatoon has clothes. I'm serious. Okay. I get to like dress up my character. I get certain.
What I meant was you said that, like, because it's a fighting game.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no execution like there is in, let's say, Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or any kind of. There's no like execution kind of thing. It's like push the right button at the right time, right? So in terms of that, you're saying there's no.
I don't think there's a lot of depth.
There's no skill involved in doing it other than push the button at the right time, right?
You know what? Maybe it does take skill. I just didn't really care for it, if I'm being completely honest. Like, the characters look cool, but I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking pay $60 just to look at some cool characters, you know? Like,
well, I will say that, like, in terms of Splatoon, that's it's hard to compare the two because it's simple. You paint the floor and you destroy your enemies, you know?
It's different though to me. Because, like...
I mean, like I said, it's hard to compare.
Splatoon had a story... Okay, then you shouldn't have brought it up, to be honest.
Well, no, I'm bringing it up only because they're both simple multiplayer
I get what you mean.
games.
They're easy versions of, like, other types of games.
Exactly,
like,
that's what I was
like
saying.
Like an easier FPS or, like, an easier fighting game.
Right.
Splatoon still had like a story mode. Splatoon had
That is true.
like the clothing thing was enough to like get me to come back every day because new items appear.
Yeah, when they announced the Zapper, I remember I jumped back in.
Like there's
heavily.
reasons to come back to that game. Arms just kind of feels like I don't know, like who is this for? Like
people who like Punch Out, I guess.
If you're gonna say that though, they could have made it like you play as this character and there's like AI that's super hard, just like Punch Out.
You were talking to me about this the other day. You said like they should have done a one player mode where you were just like that main boxer dude, and then you were supposed to fight these really hard AIs.
Yeah, because like I don't know, Punch Out's formula is just so good. I don't know why they haven't done another game in that kind of like style, where like you're like this little character that fucking sucks, and you have to beat like these big dudes that all have like certain patterns and stuff.
And they cheat.
You can beat them, but you just have to like memorize their patterns and
figure out it. Because the one thing I did like about this Punch Out that came out on the Wii, as opposed to the OG one, was each one almost was like a puzzle you had to solve.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But like the puzzle had to be solved in lightning quick array, because you had the pressure of being knocked out, and then you had to figure out how to get around there. They
all had like infinites or something too, right?
Yes, yeah.
They all had like an extended combo that you can do on them and stuff.
Yeah. See, and that's I think Arms could have been that too, but I understand what they're doing. They're trying to have their own fighting game.
I completely get that too, but I almost feel like the game was just rushed.
Maybe. I mean, when I played the test Punch back, I think it was last month.
It was like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I enjoyed the punching, but I was using the motion controls to do it, so it felt very much like Punch Out, and I think that's where that where that conversation came up. I don't know. I kind of liked it, but at the same time, I was like, if this is all it is, this is not worth $60.
That's what I mean. I played the demo and I was kind of like, I think it's just this. So I don't know.
Okay, well, that was our E3 coverage.
Yeah, it was an okay E3.
It was.
We're gonna see what they're gonna do next year, though. Like I said, I hope Nintendo didn't blow its load this year and have nothing to announce next year, or I mean, there's still hope for Animal Crossing, right? We haven't gotten an Animal Crossing.
Oh my gosh, so many people were like crying that they didn't announce Animal Crossing.
Or F-Zero. So those
or Smash.
Or Smash, yeah. Smash is like, it's like heavily confirmed already, so I don't know where that is.
What?
Yeah.
I have not seen this.
Just a port of the Wii U one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But,
well, I mean, hey, I have to admit, I bought the Mario Kart 8. I really do love that version.
Yeah.
And that whole portability thing they're selling with the Switch, I'm totally in on this.
Just one quick thing too is like, if they do put Smash Brothers, Smash 4, if they do put that on Switch, like who the fuck's gonna want to play the 3DS version, right? Like,
yeah,
it's completely obsolete at that point, right?
Yeah, it's damn.
Well,
it's like they're making the 3DS obsolete, but remember, Nintendo knows how to go back to the well. They do, and this is a lot of the times when people hate them. They still have all the sports games they can go back to. They still haven't done. They still can go back to doing Mario and Sonic at the Olympics.
Yeah, sure.
I know Sonic Heroes or whatever.
They're safe bets, I guess.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff that they know they can go back and dig. I just hope they do new IPs because listen, they did Splatoon. They did a great job with that, and it's created this whole fan base for that. They just need to keep doing things like that. You know, come up with new franchises.
Yeah, here's hoping to more creative IPs in the future.
You know, I really want to see a new Kid Icarus, but the version they did was fine. That was on the 3DS, but I want to see a more side-scroller one. Like, I want to see more from that character. I like Pit. I like that character. I like that world he lives in. I just want more of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
so, these are all things that they could do.
As soon as Sakurai has some free time, because his team is the one that does it, so...
Oh, jeez. That's right.
The menus look exactly like
Super
Smash
Bros. I know. That guy's going to kill himself trying to make another Smash. Even porting it, I bet, is going to be a huge ordeal.
Yeah.
But, anyway, there we go.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
No final thoughts. No, let us know what you guys thought. I don't know if you guys are hyped for any games or if you guys think I'm wrong. Sure, feel free to tell me in the comments.
Or if I gave you any wrong information, please let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, that does it for this week, though, guys.
And I'm super tired, so let's wrap it up.
See you next week, guys.
See ya.